So, Birds of Prey is a movie that literally it just cannot catch a break at all. And fascinatingly, the director is, I guess, kind of perpetuating that in some regard. A very interesting turn of events that have occurred. Two kind of prongs to this video. A little bit of controversy is just still being perpetuated. Not by anyone else, actually, but by the director now, Cathy Yan. But then also the fact that Sonic beat Birds of Prey once again. Now, if you don't know, obviously Sonic came out and absolutely whooped Birds of Prey's butt at the box office prior to all of this lockdown situation. But of course, they've been on home release, haven't they? And we've seen it beat it again, which is funny because it goes to show that despite the fact that it did very, very well at the box office, because it broke records, but because people liked it, thought it was a decent movie, they wanted to watch it again. And as such, on home release, it's beaten Birds of Prey once more. But we'll get into the kind of controversy side of things first, and then we'll dive into the, not box office, but the financial side of it, I guess. And I will say the interesting stuff with respect to the controversy is actually how Cathy Yan is lashing out at journalists or other YouTubers. We will call them journalists, of course. They do report on things. They do have sources. But I do find it fascinating because Cathy Yan is an individual that made no qualms about being very vocal about her original pitch for Birds of Prey, showing a sizzle reel of how women are treated by misogyny, apparently, in this day and age. So I struggle to believe that she would lie, but we're going to get into that and maybe the psychology surrounding why she potentially is lying this time around. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we do, we are so close to hitting the second stretch target on my GoFundMe for my original indie horror fantasy film Black Fields. In fact, just down here, I've got one of my own posters for it because I liked it so much, and you will eventually see it on the wall in the back. So if you want to get your own poster, check out the link down below, the Teespring, and also the GoFundMe. It would mean a lot if you want to support me. And also if you donate $5 or more via the GoFundMe, you are entered into a competition to win a real prop for the film. So pretty cool competition. But anyway, let's dive into it, right? So Birds of Prey controversy has continued with director Cathy Yan. Now we need to do a bit of a backstory for this. Why? Well, there were large rumours of reshoots for this film, which is not uncommon. Okay, I have to clarify this because when we talk about reshoots, people really do lose their minds. Pickups and reshoots are actually factored into the budget, the production, the time. Again, going back to my own film, we have a 10-day shoot. We're looking to get it done in about 7 days, and then we've got 3 days for pickups, right? It's very standard. You have to factor these things in because, you know, if you're checking the dailies and things like that, and as it's starting to come together, you know, these things need to be picked up. You need to change things. Now, on a bigger production, like Birds of Prey here, you would do a normal production time, and then you'll factor it in later down the line. Why? Well, as they start to get into the edit room and things start to get together again, then they can pull people back if needs be. Now, obviously, for smaller productions, i.e. my own, you don't have that luxury. You don't have the budget, the time, the money to do all of that. But here they do. So this had major reshoots, though. So we talk about common reshoots and how they're very normal. This had major reshoots, so much so that it's believed they completely changed a large portion of the story. Now, I will say that when you're looking at the final product, I wouldn't say that it's glaring in terms of where the reshoots were. It's a little bit disjointed in parts, and this is just from a narrative perspective and pacing. It's a little bit disjointed, but it's not terrible. If there were major reshoots, it's not glaring as to where they were. An example of glaring reshoots would be The Predator by Shane Black. That movie is a disjointed mess. You've got looming music over a pod, which doesn't reveal itself to be anything until the end, but a gift for humans. So that's where the disjointed element comes in. But they managed to save this if there were big reshoots in terms of that element. Anyway, now, Because of that, these reshoots, there were lots of discussion about it across the Twitterverse, the YouTube sphere. I mean, I did some videos on it as well. And one of the primary rumours was perpetuated by Grace Randolph of Beyond the Trailer. And she said that there was basically Roman Sionis was trying to get a diamond back that contained his dick pics. Right? Very odd. It's something which I can believe they probably had thought of, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. If you're looking at the final product, it's pretty believable that they would go, that step as well. Because it's just crazy, right? Now, as a result of all of that, there were a lot of commentary on this. I mean, it's absurd. It sounds dumb. However, it's now raised its ugly head once more. So Deadline had initially reported, I hear the first cut tested really poorly and that DC film boss Walter Hamada got Birds of Prey into shape of being the critically praised film that it is, as has been widely reported. There were reshoots, common for those on a big event film like this. I wouldn't call it a big event film. That's really overstating what this film was. But like I say, it's not uncommon. They always do these kind of things. However, we've always been getting these commentary recently on get the Ayer cut going, get the Justice League Snyder cut, all these kind of things, which has obviously been perpetuated by HBO releasing the Snyder cut 2021. Now, Kathy Yan has chimed in with this out of nowhere, and it really is out of nowhere, bearing in mind this whole movement surrounding cuts of movies is only there because directors feel like they've been wronged and then the final product was maligned or hated, right? So Justice League is one of those. A lot of people didn't like it. They thought it wasn't very, very good. They didn't think it was worth the $300+ million they spent on it, right? And the same with Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad is a hated film. By and large, it's a hated film. And I always often point to Suicide Squad as a reason why the Oscars are so illegitimate, it's unbelievable. Because Suicide Squad won an Oscar, so there you go, right? But it's a widely disliked film. So as a result of this, these directors have gone, well, I'd like to release my cut of this because I think my cut was better and it was meddled with by the studio. Now, Birds of Prey is interesting because it was well liked in terms of the end result by the people that watched it, right? Now, not a lot of people went out to watch it, but the people that did thought it was all right, and at least critically, it was people quite liked it. And it initially only got changed because of absolute balls test screenings. Now, I'm not saying that it is a good film or it was widely liked by fans and things like that, but it was reasonably well received by those who watched it. It just so happens that no one went out to watch it because no one was interested in being lectured. However, Kathy Yan's chimed in. So David Ayer obviously released a tweety, and said, this was reshot because the tone was too dark. My first act was a normally constructed film. I took my inspiration from Nolan. There were real scenes with incredible acting between Jared and Margot. Joker was terrifying. Harley was complex. And then Kathy Yan just chimes in and goes, I'm so sorry this happened to you, David. I know the pain. Yeah, but the end result was liked more than what your test screening one was. So she's perpetuating the controversy in and unto herself. This is her, she's just trying to chime in. And then Grace Randolph got involved. And then it just kind of kicked off from there. She does this. I told you guys. Massive reshoots. Largely to take out dick pics storyline. And add more action via Chad Stileski. I'm surprised Yan would jump on this bandwagon though. Birds of Prey, very well reviewed by critics and has a strong fan base that vehemently defends, as is DCEU. Well, just for Twitter etiquette, Grace, just bear with me 1 second. Just bear with me. If you're gonna retweet quote someone or quote retweet someone, they're gonna get involved. Don't do it, love. Don't do it if you're thinking, you know, if you're saying stuff like this, because they're gonna just reply to you and gonna go, "What are you doing?" It's a way that you call people out. Just a bit of etiquette. Sorry, I've got to say it. And then Jan replied saying, "Excuse me, you've got no idea what you're talking about." Boom! Just slappity face. It's fascinating you were deemed to try when you weren't part of the process whatsoever. Slam dunk. Look, inevitably there were definitely reshoots, and there probably was part of the storyline. And then we're going to start to get into the denial aspect, right? So Grace Randolph says, "No reporter is ever part of the process. They're different jobs. Everything I reported is common knowledge with many insiders. I brought it to the public. I gave your film a good review, and I said it here, you have a strong fan base. So logically, there should be no problem here." Grace is technically right. However, you quote retweeted someone, or yeah, whatever it is. They're going to naturally respond to you because you're calling them out, and you are calling them out because you are saying, quite literally, you know, "I'm surprised that Jan would jump on this bandwagon." You're saying that they're bandwagoning. Come on, Grace. Come on. You're not an idiot. You're not a fool. You're not a tard. All right? Okay? You do know that that's what you've just said. Anyway, and then Kathy Yan replied again. "And I thank you for the support, but let's set the record straight. There were never dick pics. You peddling a paedophilia rumour is not journalism. Peddling any gossip is not journalism. I know. I was one." Oh, I'm loud. She gets slam dunked. So look, let's just break this down, okay? Because let's just break it down, right? Kathy Yan is very, very honest about the heavy feminist focus she wanted with this film. Honest to her detriment, right? Because when you're saying that you're including Trump in a sizzle reel of all these things to try, like literally her pitch to Warner Brothers was a sizzle reel of misogyny against women. That's all it was. So it's difficult to believe that she would lie now. However, since the film has come out and is, you know, not particularly well liked, hasn't earned a particular sum of money anyway, would she want to hide the fact that it was changed but still bettered by the fact that it was DPs floating about in the film, dick pics? Probably. It's difficult to see, isn't it? But I will say this: look, Kathy, at the end of the day, you know, old media is dead. You saying that the likes of you know, Grace Randolph is not journalism and stuff like that, that's you're doing yourself a disservice. You're not that stupid. Okay, more people tune into YouTubers now than they have ever done with respect to newspapers. And newspapers and online outlet websites, they're dead. They're dead, and they are dying. The ones which are not dead, they are dying a slow, steady death. And people are not bothered by it. They don't care about them anymore. They are much happier to tune into someone that is very, very real, and you know, has some people on the inside, right? You know, I'm not saying that Grace is telling the truth here with the dick pics. It's difficult to say, obviously, but she jumped in here, started this controversy for absolutely needlessly. There was no need to do any of that. Utterly pointless. But there you go. There you go. The controversy continues. And then just quickly, and it is only real quick, is that, look, Sonic the Hedgehog absolutely slam dunked it again. Knocks off Birds of Prey to claim the top spot on the Watched at Home Top 20 list. So, again, I think this shows the legs of film. This is irony. This is some funny commentary here, isn't it? The puns and stuff. Sonic the Hedgehog has legs. You know, it goes to show the legs of a film like this. Family friendly, good morals, you know, happy, bit of dumb fun, good rewatch value. You know, it was watched quite a lot by a lot of people when it was out in theatres, and inevitably some of those people will be watching it again. But it beats it once more. So obviously it beat Birds of Prey, and now it's beaten it again. In fact, it had the top spot. This is the week of May 28. So, yeah, I don't know what it is now, but it's just a funny little bit of commentary just to say that it smashed it once more. But there you go, guys. That is today's longish video, I guess. I hope you're all well. Hope you've had a good weekend. I released a car vlog. Well, it's barely a car vlog. It's just me vlogging about on the weekend. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you didn't, it's not your cup of tea. No worries. That's not what my channel's going to turn into. Do not be concerned. Anyway, guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this drama and trash down below in the comment section. I do find it quite curious. So please do let me know down below. If you're new here, do hit subscribe, turn your bell notifications on if you want to be notified, and make sure you turn them on to all, because if you do personalize, you're allowing YouTube to curate content for you. Why would you do that? Also, just throwing it out there, I do have a Patreon. I've been playing Evil Within for them on my Patreon, and I'm uploading one right now, actually. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Mr. H. Take care.